Hello everyone. In the last session we were discussing about components of budget, wherein we have covered the whole topic in detail for the budget receipts. Today we are going to discuss about budget expenditure. Once again, both the budget receipts and budget expenditure are the estimated one, not the actual one. Okay. So today we are going to start with the budget receipts. Budget expenditure, sorry. The budget expenditure is classified into three categories: revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Number two, development expenditure and non-development expenditure. Number three, plan expenditure and non-plan expenditure. We are going to see in detail about all these types of expenditures. Let's start with the first one, revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Let's start with first of all revenue expenditure. These are those estimated expenditure of the government during the fiscal year which do not affect the assets and liabilities. It means here only those expenditure will be mentioned which do not affect the assets and liabilities of the government. If government is doing certain expenditure and if it is not affecting the assets and liabilities of the government, that would be termed under revenue expenditure. Let's see the example: salaries, old age pension, etc. These are those expenditure which do not affect the assets and liabilities of the government. That is why they fall under the category of revenue expenditure. Now, capital expenditure. These are those estimated expenditure of the government during the fiscal year. Fiscal year is the financial year, which starts from 1st April till 31st March. Once again, capital expenditure. These are those estimated expenditure of the government during the fiscal year which affects the assets and liabilities. If government is doing certain expenditure and if it is affecting the assets and liabilities of the government, it falls under the category of capital expenditure. For example, construction of dam. It affects the assets of the country or the government. Purchase of shares of MNCs. If government is purchasing shares of some multinational, then again it affects the assets of the government. So any expenditure which government is doing, and if that expenditure is affecting the assets and liability, will fall under the capital expenditure. Once again, very easy to understand. If the expenditure done by the government do not affect the assets and liabilities, it is revenue expenditure, and if it affects the assets and liabilities, that is capital expenditure. That is the first type of expenditure which we have finished. Now demerits. As we know, in surplus budget, government generates more revenue and spends less. Government is having more money from the market and government is giving less money in the market. Ultimately, people have got less money. It is known as contraction of money and it lowers the aggregate demand. Now, if the economy is suffering from depression, then following can be the demerits. Low level of output. As government is not spending much, less money flows to the economy, output will be less. Low level of employment, no output, then employment opportunities are also less. And finally, low level of income also. So these are the demerits. Now, deficit budget. It is that budget in which the estimate government receipts are less than the government expenditure. Government expenditures are more in this case. Here, government injects more money in the market. Now, government is inputting or injecting more money in the market. How the government does that? By doing more expenditures. So, deficit budget is equal to estimated government receipts are less and government expenditure are more. Government is injecting more money in the market. That is deficit budget. Expenditures are more. Again, this type of budget has got certain advantages and disadvantages. Let's start with the merits. Government expenditure are more here. So what are the advantages? It solves the problem of deflation. If the country is or the economy is suffering from the problem of deflation, this type of problem can be easily solved here. As government is incurring more expenditure, more money is flowing in the market. Let's see the two advantages. The first one, government collects less revenue from the people and increases the purchasing power of the people. The people are supposed to pay less here and more money remains with the people, so the purchasing power of the people increases. Now, if the purchasing power increases, the problem of deflation can be solved. Number 2, government increases the expenditure and increases the money supply. Government will increase the expenditure, more money will flow in the market, ultimately people are going to have more money. Again, it will solve the problem of deflation. In both the cases, people have got more money with them, so the demand will increase, money supply in the market will increase, ultimately the problem of deflation will also be solved. The demerits, as in deficit budget, the government receipts are less and the government expenditure is more. It would lead to inflationary gap. See, if more and more money is flowing in the market, the purchasing power of the people are increasing more and more. So ultimately it may lead to the situation of inflationary gap, where the aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply. It leads to inflationary gap. Hello everyone. So far we have finished 3 sessions for the chapter government budget and the economy. Today we are going to start with the 4th session. In session 1, we have completed meaning, features and objectives of budget. Session 2, wherein we have discussed about components of budget. There are 2 components of budget, budget receipts and budget expenditure. In session 2, we have discussed about budget receipts. In session 3, we have discussed about budget expenditure. Now in today's session, we are going to talk about types of budget. So let's start with today's session. Topic is types of budget. Hello everyone. This is our 4th session for the chapter government budget and the economy. Today we are going to discuss about types of budget. There are 2 types of budget, balanced budget and unbalanced budget. As the name suggests, in balanced budget, the situation is of equilibrium. It means there is no surplus expenditure or receipts. The second type is unbalanced budget, again in which there are 2 categories, surplus budget and deficit budget. So there are 2 types of budget, balanced and unbalanced. 2 subcategories in unbalanced budget, that is surplus budget and deficit budget. Let's start with the topic of balanced budget. It is that budget in which government receipts and government expenditure, once again all the receipts and all the expenditure are estimated one. It is that budget in which all the estimated government receipts and estimated government expenditures are equal. This type of budget has no effect on the economic activity, so we can say that neutral effect on the economy or in the economic activity. Now, balanced budget is equal to estimated government expenditures are equal to estimated government receipts. Once again, balanced budget is estimated government receipts and estimated government expenditure are equal. Now, this type of budget has certain advantages and disadvantages in our economy. Let's start with the merits, the advantages of balanced budget. Number 1, if government is preparing balanced budget, wherein the receipts and expenditures are same. In this type of budget, the first advantage is government is not incurring any wasteful expenditures. So no excess expenditure, no excess receipts. So the first advantage is government is not doing any sort of wasteful expenditure. That's first advantage. Number 2, this type of budget depicts financial stability. So you can say that the stability is there in the economy as the receipts and expenditure are same. So two advantages: no wasteful expenditure and financial stability. Now the demerits. Now these type of budgets are not useful when the economy is suffering from depression. See, when there is depression in the economy, government has to incur more expenditure so that the economy can come up. So the demerit first one is, it is not useful to solve the problem of unemployment. In order to solve the problem of unemployment, government has to incur expenses, has to do many expenditures. Government has to set up many capital plants. The government has to set up many industries due to which the problem of unemployment can be solved. But as the receipts and expenditure are balanced, government is not incurring here more expenses. So during depression, this type of budget is not useful. Number 2, the process of economic growth is less as the government is not incurring any expenses. The economic growth is less. So two advantages and two limitations. Advantages: no wasteful expenditures and financial stability can be seen. 2, during depression, the problem of unemployment cannot be solved and economic growth is less in this type of budget. The second type of budget is unbalanced budget, wherein there are two categories: surplus budget and deficit budget. Let's talk about surplus budget. As the name suggests, surplus, you can understand the receipts are more than the expenditure, then only the budget can become surplus. The definition, everyone: it is the budget in which government receipts are greater than government expenditure. So government receipt is more and the government expenditures are less. So we can come on a conclusion that government here soaks out more money from the market. The government is taking more money from the market. The more the government is taking money from the market, the more is the receipts of the government. So in surplus budget, government is soaking more money from the market, which leads to contraction of money. Less money is in the market. Less money is in the market, which ultimately aggregate demand falls. Now surplus budget is equal to estimated government receipts are more than estimated government expenditure. The receipts are more and the expenditures are less. Now again, this type of budget has certain advantages and limitation. Let's start with the advantages. The surplus budget solves the problem of inflation. Now how it solves the problem of inflation? Let's see. These are the two advantages. Government collect huge revenue from the public. The government actually earns more revenue. It collects more money from the public actually. Government collects huge revenue and reduces the purchasing power of the people. When government collects more money, the purchasing power of the people goes down as people have to pay more to the government. The purchasing power of the people comes down and it solves the problem of inflation, as now people have got less money with them. Number 2, government reduces expenditure, which reduces supply of money. Government here reduces the expenditure and ultimately less money flows to the economy, and people have got less money and the problem of inflation can be solved. So both the advantages solves the problem of inflation. That is an advantage.